Hi, in this video we'll be looking at how to find the greatest common factor of two or more numbers. So the greatest common factor, you may have heard of it, it's also called the GCF. Alright, so we're going to look at two methods. The first method is going to be kind of more straightforward, but it's a little bit more work when the numbers get harder, so stay tuned for the second method as well. Alright, so we can go ahead and just list the factors of 24. And so you may recall factors are numbers, whole numbers that multiply by each other to get, or 24 in this case. So for example, 1 and 24 are both factors, so are 2 and 12, because they multiply by each other to get 24. So are 3 and 8. And finally, so are 4 and 6. So all of these numbers are whole numbers that multiply by another whole number to get 24. Alright, so we can go ahead and we can list the factors of 36 as well, and the factors of 60. So the factors of, it should have been of 24, the factors of 36, and I'm just going to list those straight. The factors of 36 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 36. And finally, the factors of 60 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, and then it jumps to 60. Alright, so now we're being asked to find the greatest common factor, not just a common factor. Like, there are multiple common factors. 1 goes into all, 2 goes into all, but we're looking for the biggest number that goes into all of these numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and just check, does 24 go into these two? So it doesn't, so it's not the greatest common factor because it's not common. 12 is common to all three, and it is in fact the greatest common factor. So in this case, or GCF, or greatest common factor, is 12. Alright, so that's one method to find the GCF, and again, when the numbers get big and crazy, it can get a little tedious. So we're going to talk about another method to find the GCF. Okay, so in the other method, we find all the prime factors, and once you figure out the prime factors, whatever prime factors are in common will tell you the GCF. It will be super clear when you see it happen. So let's do the prime factor tree for 24 first. So we have our smallest prime number that goes into 24 is 2, and 2 times 12 gives us 24. Alright, and the smallest prime factor that goes into 12 is 2, and 2 times 6 gives you 12. And the smallest prime factor that goes into 6 is still 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. And now we have all our prime factors of 24 listed. Let's go ahead and do that for 36. Alright, smallest prime number that goes into 36 is 2, and 2 times 18 is 36. Smallest prime factor that goes into 18 is 2, and 2 times 9 is 18. Smallest prime factor that goes into 9 is 3. And 3 times 3 is 9, and those are all prime, so we've done our factor tree for our 36. And finally, our factor tree for 60, we have 2, and by now you should have the swing of this, so I'll just go ahead and do it quickly. We have 15 over here, 3 and 5, and they're all prime, and so that's the prime factors of 60. So now we want to see what prime factors are in common for all three trees. So if you take a look there, let's point to here, there are 2 2's here, there are 2 2's here, there's 3 2's here, but that's too many 2's. We have 2 2's in common. So we're going to go ahead, highlight this guy, highlight this guy. The 2's are in common for all, so we'll highlight so we can remember the 2's are in common. Alright, again we have an extra 2 here, that doesn't help us, but we do have a 3 here, here, and here, so that is helpful. So we highlight the 3's, 1, 3 each, and we have an extra 5 over here that's not in common to all of these, so it doesn't matter. We have an extra 3 here, not in common to these, so that doesn't matter. The things that we have in common is 2 2s and a 3. We have that in all of our trees, and so that will give us our greatest common factor. And so our greatest common factor then is 2 times 2 times 3, which gives us 12. So it's just another method, and this method kind of is very helpful when you're dealing with hard and annoying numbers. So keep in mind both methods and choose whichever one you think works best.